Okay, can I use this arrow?
Check.
You didn't use the arrow.
Mic test. Okay. Okay, shall we start? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. Welcome to this session. My name is Emiko Nakaami. I'm from Japan. This session is about the changing Japanese legal system. This is like a guided tour to Japanese law and Japanese legal education system. So I'm a tour guide for you today, and I hope that you will have fun with this short tour. Before we start, let me introduce myself a little bit, since I'm afraid that I'm a total stranger here. I am a PhD student at Waseda University, which is a private university located in Tokyo. I major in Japanese modern legal history. I am also a researcher for Legal Education Division of JFBA, which stands for Japan Federation Bar Associations. Simply, JFBA is like a Japanese version of American Bar Association. Last year, as a LLM student at Duke Law, I was lucky for attending CALI conference 2003. I am also lucky this year to have a chance for this presentation. Since this April, I've been also a tutor at Waseda Law. I helped those law students of Waseda with legal research. So for this session, I'd like to talk of what I found as a student at the Graduate School of Waseda, as a researcher for JFBA, and as a tutor at Waseda Law. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about Japanese legal history, as this is my major. So what is Japanese law? How does it look like? When you hear it, what kind of image do you have? You may think, well, Japan is a country located in the East Asia, so China and Korea are their good neighbors. Japanese law may be like those Chinese and Korean laws. Or you may think, well, Japan is a samurai country. Those people may still have the spirit of samurai or bushido, so Japanese law sounds strict and not like Western laws at all. But wait a minute. Japan is a high-tech country. Sony, Toyota, Nintendo are all Japanese makers. So Japanese law is probably quite sophisticated. Otherwise, they cannot survive in the international business world. Well, at ancient times, it is true that Japan had great influence from China and Korea. Especially Chinese code or Ritsuryo had been long good models before the late 19th century. Until the late 19th century, there were little legal influence from the Western world. From the early 17th century till the late 19th century, Japanese shogun government closed the country to foreign commerce with 3 exceptions: China, Korea, and Holland, the Netherlands. Among Western countries, only Holland was allowed to trade, but the trade was done at one port called Nagasaki only. So the shogun government at least kept one tiny contact with the Western world. However, those rulers at that time were not interested in Western laws or their legal systems, but only advanced science and technology. The significant change occurred in 1853, when the black warship of Commodore Perry came to Japan. This is the start that Japan opened its port to the Western world, and this is the start that Japan came to learn Western culture in order to survive as one independent country. In the late 19th century, the Meiji government first started to learn Dutch law because there were some academics to understand Dutch, and then they turned to learn French law. The first civil code of Japan was modeled after Napoleon Code. They also learned diplomatic rules and systems from England. Criminal code and constitutional law were based on German law. Roughly, German law was most influential before the World War II. After the war, as the political and commercial bond between the US and Japan were getting strong, the US law became influential in Japan, although it is rare for Japan to adopt them directly. So Japanese law is quite sophisticated now and looks like Western laws in many ways, I would say. I would tell three distinctive aspects of Japanese law and its legal system in which you might be interested. First, we have one integral court system. As for the separation of powers, legislative powers goes to the Diet or Kokkai, which is consisted of the House of Representatives or Shugin, and of the House of Councillors or Sangin. Executive powers goes to the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is Junichiro Koizumi, whom probably you may sometimes see on TV. Judicial powers go to the Supreme Court and other inferior courts. Japan has unified court system, so we have no federal or state questions. In Japan, we have prefectures but no states. We have municipal audience but no state law. In this sense, conflict of law problem doesn't exist in Japan. Okay, the map on the left shows the location of courts. For example, I'm living in Yokohama. So if something wrong happens, I will go to Yokohama District Court. If I need to appeal, then I will go to Tokyo High Court and then to the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, the Grand Bench has all 15 justices, while the Petty Bench has 5 justices. The designation of the Chief Justice and the appointment of other justices and judges are done by the Cabinet, but the nomination of candidates and the assignment of judges to a specific court are reserved for the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court actually chooses those judges and their posts. The second aspect I'd like to mention is that Japan has an emperor, although it is not an imperial country anymore. According to the Constitution of Japan, the emperor shall be the symbol of the state and of the unity of people. There is little political power that the emperor can exercise. The recent debate related with Japanese imperial family is about succession of the imperial throne, since the crown prince has no son, and according to the present imperial house law, only the male line can succeed the throne. Whether we should change the law or not is getting a hot topic now. The third aspect that I'd like to mention is that Japan still has capital punishment, although the number of the actual execution is quite small. The prisoner will be hung without any prior notice and without any explanation why he or she is picked up while there are other prisoners on death row. The Ministry of Justice only announces that they did the execution and the number of the execution, but they didn't tell any personal information. However, although the Ministry of Justice doesn't mention the name of the executed, we know that somehow. The most recent case is about Shinji Mukai. And the recent famous case of death penalty is probably about Shoko Asahara or Chizuo Matsumoto by his real name. Shoko Asahara is the founder of Supreme Court, and he ordered a series of crimes carried out his disciples, including the Tokyo subway sarin attack of March 1995. Okay, let's move to Japanese legal education system. Before 2004, law was mainly taught at undergraduate level. So after graduating from senior high school, students enter undergraduate law faculties. They usually spend 4 years to get a Bachelor of Law degree. At the Faculty of Law, as well as law subject, students learn 1 or 2 foreign language and some liberal arts subjects. In my case, I took English as a first foreign language and French as a second. I also took psychology, biology, and several history courses. Some of these law students take the bar exam after their graduation to become lawyers, but most go to companies after graduation. Some students who are interested in studying further go to the Graduate School of Law. The Graduate School of Law has a master course and then doctoral course. The problem of the legal education system before 2004 is that the legal education they provide is not considered professional legal education, and no law degree is required to take the current national law examinations. I will tell you the Japanese bar exam later. Under the present system, the number of lawyers has been kept too small for the world's second largest economy. Moreover, as law is taught at an undergraduate level, most lawyers do not have academic background in subject other than law. That's why the reform of legal education system started. The Diet or Kokai passed the laws for the new system in December 2002, and the Ministry of Education established standards for accreditation of these legal education programs in March 2003. The new law school just started in April 2004. Remember, Japanese schools start in April, not in fall. Those who finish their first degree enter law school, and also many of those who have working experience tend to enter law school to be a lawyer. Interestingly, while American-style law school is adopted in Japan, the existing law faculties and graduate schools still continue. How the Faculty of Law should be changed is a big debate now. So this is a list of Japanese law schools which just started in April. Japan has 68 law schools, 20 national, 2 public, and 46 private. I heard that the US has about 200 law schools. Compared with the US, 68 is a small number. However, we originally expected probably about 40 schools. So this number was much more than expected. And the number will increase as some universities are also planning to establish law schools next year. Looking at the capacity of the school, Tokyo Law, Waseda Law, and Chuo Law are the biggest in size. We will see many law schools are rather small. Some of them accept only 30 students each year. As for the present bar exam, I mentioned earlier, the most popular course is that students take the bar exam after they graduate from the Faculty of Law. I would say the present exam is quite torturous to those exam takers. The first stage is multiple choice questions about common law, civil law, and criminal law. The first stage is taken in May, and only those who passed can go to the second stage. The second stage is essays about common law, civil and criminal law, commercial law, and civil and criminal procedure. This is not the end of the exam. The final stage is in October. Those who pass the second stage take the interview. You will see that the present bar exam is too competitive. Less than 3% can actually pass the exam. Although I said the bar exam, speaking more precisely, this is a national law examination. It means this exam is not only for lawyers, but also for judges and public prosecutors to be. So the number of the final stage passed is not the number of the lawyers to be. Another aspect of the bar exam is that most of those successful candidates are from top universities. The ranking of the universities has been little changed these 5 years. And as for the new bar exam, it will start in 2006. There is a significant change of the content. Under the new system, by 2010, 3,000 people are expected to pass the new exam annually. We will have more and more lawyers in the future, it means. Okay, let's talk a little bit about computer-assisted legal education. In Japanese law schools, it is mandatory to teach legal research, but not mandatory to have an independent legal research class. It means that law students should learn legal research in one of those classes they take. Look at the example of Waseda Law. One else needs to choose either the principle of law or the judicial system class. The 5 sessions of both classes are used for legal research. Both law professors and tutors teach legal research together. We have 5 tutors, including me. All of them are in the doctoral course of Waseda Graduate School. When students have questions about research or questions in general, they come to tutors. Waseda Law also has academic advisors, all of whom are lawyers. So when students have questions about specific subjects, they go to academic advisors. What did I teach at those 5 sessions? On the first day, the session is simply how to use the library and how to use the catalog online. wine is not drinkable, but this is Waseda Information Library Network System. So on the first session, I teach how to use this wine system and also how to find the specific book or journal. Okay, on the second day, the main topic is how to find the specific law, and we use several databases. One useful database is offered by 소무쇼. 소무쇼 is the Ministry of Public Management, Home Affairs, Post and Telecommunications. This database is very useful, and more importantly, it's free. Anybody can get access through the internet. Another important database is offered by Daiichi Foki, a famous publishing company of legal materials. This DB is commercial one. One significant point using this database is if the law is partly amended, we can see both texts before and after the amendment. The third session is how to find a case. I will show you one important database later. That database is called LexDB. In the fourth session is how to find governmental documents. We also teach Japanese version of FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and Privacy Act in this session. In the final session is how to find legal periodicals and specific articles. We also teach citations. During those 5 sessions, students bring their own laptop and sometimes use several databases at tutor's instruction. Finally, I will show you one big supporting system for legal education. It is called Law School Education and Research Supporting System. This is offered by TKC, a private database company. I don't know exactly how many law schools use this system, but quite a number of law schools use it, I can say. This system can be used through the internet, although user ID and password are needed for access. This system has 2 major roles: course page and law library. This is the homepage of Waseda Law. We also have the English version here. And this is the login page for Law School Education and Research Supporting System. then this is the login page. And after I put in an ID, my user ID and password, the next page is this. Unfortunately, it's all written in Japanese. And okay, on the left side, there are Q&As from students and class schedule here. And then syllabus, the news from the law school office. On the right side, there are LexDB, which is a big database to find Japanese cases. And also the latest important cases. And the major Japanese code. This is a concise Japanese law dictionary. Actually, this is the one. And also, there are the links to other databases. So, as for LexDB, this is the one I mentioned earlier. This debate to find used to find cases. This database is also offered by TKC. The cases compiled in this database can go back to the late 19th century. This supporting system has just started. So compared with Lexis or Vestro, I have to admit that this is rather small so far. But this is gradually expanding and changing for the better, I believe. I'll show you other images. So this is the first window of LexDB. So, and this is many links to other databases. These are all about cases. And also this is called Kampo, Japanese version of Federal Register. And databases for Japanese law and databases for treaties. And this is for statistics, and this is for the white paper, the governmental paper. And this is the course schedule students has. So for example, the number of law course I mentioned is here and here. So, okay. And this is the syllabus for the principle of law, and the first 5 sessions is all about legal research. And this is a database which I mentioned about to find Japanese laws, and which is free. We can search by the name of the law or the first word of the law. And then by the subject and the date, and also by the free word. And also there is a useful page. This is quotes in Japan, and also this has English version. And this is the homepage for the Ministry of Public Management. So it has English version, but the content is quite small compared with Japanese version. And this is a homepage for Japan Federation of Bar Associations, which I'm working for. This also has English version, but again, the content is rather small than Japanese version. Okay, all right. This is all about my session, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for your patience. And I'm sorry the network doesn't work. And any questions and comments? And please talk slowly for me. Okay. Degrees. Okay. Thank you. Yes, please. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some students actually take the exam again and again, maybe say 10 years. Yeah. Right. Basically, Japan is civil court country, but nowadays maybe professors put more emphasis on studying those cases, I think. And do we have clinics at Japanese law schools? Yes, we have. So actually, Japanese law schools newly started really look like American style law schools. So most of the part we copied American law schools, I think. I hope so. But actually, many Japanese professors are really interested in typical traditional teaching method, Socratic method. But actually, in US, they are now, how can I say, thinking of the traditional teaching method, right? But some Japanese professors believe Socratic method is the best way to teach those law students. Right, it is very difficult. As for traditional Japanese law faculties, most of them, most of those classes are lecture type classes. So professors give lectures, and students simply just listening to the professors. So there is certain silence in classroom. So sometimes maybe students are just sleeping. Anyway, so it is difficult, and also at the Faculty of Law, sometimes one class maybe holds 300 students for the lecture. So there is little time to ask questions during the class. Maybe after the class it would be okay, but during the class, students just listening. So maybe it's less interesting. But at Japanese law schools, which just started, maybe professors are trying to ask questions in person, like Socratic method. And also, students are trying to ask questions in class more eagerly, I think. So, but, according to our old tradition, to ask questions in class or in public or to professors or to their bosses is really difficult. But nowadays, I think the situation is changing, I hope, for the better way. Yeah, it is really difficult. And also, those students who just entered Japanese law schools, some of them are from Faculty of Law, but some of them are from other faculties like science or medicine or history or whatever. So there is a certain gap between those students who just finished law faculties and those who just other faculties. And also there is a gap between those students who just came from after they got the first degree, and also and those who had working experience. So especially those who just entered from other faculties really sometimes have serious problem to understand what professors said in class. So sometimes they come to tutors and ask basic questions, which is how they should study law and how they should prepare for the class. These basic questions sometimes they ask to tutors.
We have the same.
Oh, yeah.
Because experience.
To become a judge, something that you make it a career, or is that something you aspire to once you real world? Or in other words, how do you?
Actually, after they pass the bar exam, they go to the Institute of Legal Education, which run by the government, and they have some training for 1 year. And after that, they can choose either to be a lawyer, public prosecutor, or a judge. As for the judge, first they will be assistant judge, and also public prosecutor and lawyers. So although I said it's the bar exam, but also the exam for judges and public prosecutors. So the system is different from the U.S.
Can I understand that judges of the
Supreme Court? Yeah. Supreme Court justices.
they pick their own.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So actually, the Supreme Court can pick up those.
Well, the federal courts are all appointed by.
Yeah. When I was one integral court system. When I was at Duke, I actually asked this professor.
the same time.
school. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
Good job saving everything. That was very smart.
Can I recover the...
Oh, I might have locked, did I lock it in there? Oh, I'm so sorry.